Hello students, in the last lecture we have seen the FEM implementation on truss problems. Truss, we know that sometimes the number of members in a truss will be very high, and sometimes it is difficult to analyze a truss structure by using calculations. So there are some methods by which you can simplify the complexity of a truss problem. We can reduce the quantum of truss problem and we can reduce it to such level that we can actually do it manually. We can do the calculations manually, and it becomes easy for us to do the calculations because we know that the size of the global stiffness matrix in case of truss is number of 2 times number of nodes by 2 times number of nodes. So if imagine if there are 5 nodes in a truss problem, then the size of the global stiffness matrix would be say 10 by 10, and doing a manual calculations, hand calculations on 10 by 10 matrix sometimes becomes very difficult. So there are some techniques by which you can reduce the quantum of the truss problem to a certain level where we can do the hand calculations. I'll give the example of circle generation algorithm and ellipse generation algorithm. So in circle generation we have not written the program for generating an entire 360-degree circle. We have developed a logic for 1/8 part of a circle by using the symmetry of a circle, and the rest of the 7/8 part of a circle is generated by using a symmetry. In the same way, we can use the symmetricity of a truss structure to reduce the problem, and actually we can do the calculations. So if the truss structure is similar about an axis, then we can reduce the truss problem. So that is the topic of today's discussion, that is axis symmetry truss. So if the truss problem is symmetric about an axis, then we can reduce it, and we can reduce it to a level where we can do the hand calculations. Okay. So today's topic is axis symmetry truss problem. Okay. Now here I have selected a truss problem. Now here you can see that this is there are total 1, 2, 3, 4 members are there in the truss, and if you see this truss is symmetric about this vertical axis. So this is symmetric about this vertical axis. Okay. So the left hand side portion of a truss problem and right hand side portion of a truss problem is similar. So this problem can be treated as axis symmetry truss problem. Okay. The primary requirements of the problem is that it should be symmetric about the axis, and at the same time the direction of forces should also be in line with the axis. Okay. If the forces are perpendicular to the axis of symmetry, then such problems are not treated as axis symmetry truss problem. Always remember that the direction of force should be along the axis symmetry, the symmetric axis. Okay. So here we can see that the problem is symmetric about this vertical axis. So if you discretize the original truss problem, then it would look something like this. So there will be 1, 2, 3 and 4 nodes. So that will make the global stiffness matrix of size 8 by 8. but we actually can reduce the problem of truss, and we can actually take only the half portion. Okay, we can divide or we can cut this truss problem into two halves. One is on left side, one is on right sides. So we can do the calculations for left hand side problems, and the same can be applied to the right side portion as well. Okay, so what we did, we have cut this truss problem into half and then we have discretized. Okay, so this is the half portion that we have considered. Now node number 2 and node number 3 are given the two roller supports. So roller supports are arranged in such a way that it allows the movement in the direction of force. Okay, so force is applied in vertical direction, so that is why we have given the roller support, vertical roller supports at node number 2 and node number 3. Okay, so node numbering is given in a same manner that we have discussed in the last lecture. So always start the node numbering from bottom left corner and go in clockwise direction. So I have started the node numbering from the bottom left corner, bottom left node, and in clockwise direction. So this is 1, this is 2, this is 3. Okay, so Q1x, Q1y are the two global displacement in two mutually perpendicular directions. Similarly, F1x, F1y are the two mutually perpendicular forces that we are considering at node number 1. Similarly, Q2x, Q2y, F3x, this is F2x, F2y, Q3x, Q3y, F3x, F3y. So these are the displacement and forces that we are considering at the three nodes, node number 1, 2 and 3. Okay, so this is our element number 1, this is our element number 2, this is our element number 3. Element number 1 is made up of node number 1 and 2, element 2 is made up of node number 2 and 3, and element 3 is made up of node number 1 and 3. So same thing we have arranged it here in the element connectivity table. So element connectivity table says that element number 1 is having first local node as 1, second local node as 2. So एलिमेंट जो दो नोड से मिलके बना हुआ है उसमें से जो छोटा वाला जो नंबर है दैट विल बी कंसिडर्ड एज अ फर्स्ट लोकल नोड, और दो में से जो बड़ा वाला नंबर है वो सेकेंड लोकल नोड करके कंसिडर होता है. सो एलिमेंट नंबर 1 इज मेड अप ऑफ नोड नंबर 1 and 2. So out of which 1 is smaller, 2 is bigger, that is why 1 is first local node and 2 is second local node. Similarly, element number 2 is made up of 2 and 3, out of which 2 is a smaller number, that is why we have kept it as a first local node and 3 as a second local node. Element number 3 is made up of node number 1 and 3, out of which 1 is a smaller number, that is why 1 is first local node and 3 is second local node. So after element connectivity table, next is to find the inclination of each element. So here we will find the inclination of all the three elements. So first we take the element number 1, which is made up of node number 1 and node number 2. We know that always measure the inclination at first local node. Okay, so at first local node means consider this as a origin, draw positive x-axis and measure the inclination in anti-clockwise direction from the positive x-axis. So this is the inclination theta. Now this inclination theta can be easily find out by using the geometry or trigonometric functions. So if you consider this triangle, then this entire length is 1 meter plus 0.5 meters. So total length is 1.5 meter. This distance is 0.86. So tan theta is equal to 1.5 upon 0.86. So tan theta means opposite upon adjacent, and theta is 60.17. So this is the inclination of element number 1. Similarly, element number 2. Element number 2 means this one. So element number 2 is made up of node number 2 and 3. So element number 2 is made up of node number 2 and 3. So always measure the inclination at first local node. So for this, consider this first local node as origin, draw positive x-axis and measure angle in anti-clockwise direction. So if we measure the angle in anti-clockwise direction, then the inclination comes out to be 270 degree. Okay. Similarly, element number 3 is made up of node number 1 and 3. So element number 3 is made up of node number 1 and node number 3. So this distance is 0.86 and this distance is 0.5. So if you calculate the angle theta here, this angle theta, then this theta comes out to be 30.17. So these are the inclination of the individual elements. Now next task is to make a direction cosine table. So next is direction cosine table. So direction cosine table is having components element, length, inclination theta, then cos theta, sin theta, cos theta, sin theta, cos square theta and sin square theta. Because we know that we require sin theta, cos theta functions in element stiffness matrix. So that is why we have complete the table first and then we calculate the element stiffness matrices. So element number 1. Element number 1. What is the length of element number 1? We can easily find out from this triangle. So this length, so L is equal to under root 0.86 square plus 1.5 ka square. So the length of this member comes out to be 1729. So 1729.04. Okay, mm. So this is in meter, but if you convert it into mm, so it comes out to be 1729.04. So 1729.04 is the length of this member. What is theta here? Theta is 60.17. Then cos theta is 0.86. Cos theta is 0.49. Sin theta is 0.86. Then this is 0.43. Cos square theta is 0.24 and sin square theta is 0.75. Okay. Then element number 2. Element number 2. What is the length of element number 2? Length of element number 2 is 1 meter. So that means 1000 mm. What is the inclination? Is 270 degree. Cos of 270 is 0. Sin of 270 is -1. cos theta sin theta is 0, cos square theta is 0, and sin square theta is 1. Similarly, element number 3, length is 994. So from this triangle you can easily find out the length of element number 3. So it comes out to be 994.76. So 994.76, the inclination is 30.17, and cos theta is 0.86, sin theta is 0.5, cos theta sin theta is 0.43, cos square theta is 0.75, and sin square theta is 0.24. Okay, so in this way we are finished with the direction cosine table. Now next we find out the element stiffness matrix. Okay. So element stiffness matrix. So element stiffness matrix for first element is given by AE by L, C square CS CS S square minus C square minus CS minus CS minus S square minus C square minus CS C square CS minus CS minus S square CS S square. Okay. So this is the element stiffness matrix. Now if you put the values here, what is the area? Area is given. So all the members of this truss is having a same cross sectional area, that is 200 mm square. So 200 multiplied by E is given. All the members are made up of same material, so it will have a same value of E. So it is 200 into 10 to the power 3 divided by length of the first member is this one, 1729.04. Then C square value is 0.24. CS value is 0.43. Okay, I'll write down here. So area is 200, E is 200 into 10 to the power 3, L value is 1729.04. What is C square value? C square 0.24, CS is 0.43, CS S square 0.75. So minus 0.24 minus 0.43 minus 0.43 minus 0.75 minus 0.24 minus 0.43 0.24 0.43 minus 0.43 minus 0.75, 0.43, 0.75. So this is the element thickness matrix for first element, and first element is made up of node number 1 and 2. So the row number column number will be 1x, 1y, 2x, 2y, 1x, 1y, 2x, 2y. Okay. Same way you need to calculate K2. So here also K2. So area. Now here we have divided this member into two halves. So area of this member, area of this member will be divided by 2 because we have cut this member into two halves. So half portion will be there in this side and half portion will be there in this side. So we need to consider only the half area. Okay, so here 200 divided by 2, so only half the area is to be considered. So total area is 200. So here we need to consider only half area, that is 100. So this is very important. Very important. So area is 100 multiplied by E value into 10 to the power 3. Young's modulus value will remain same for the material. And the length of this member is 1000. And it will be C square CS S square. S square value is 1. So 0 0 0 minus 1 0 0 0 0 0 minus 1 0. And K3. So K3 member, so this is that member, so it will be 200 into 200 into 10 to the power 3 divided by 994.76. So here also C square CS S square, so minus 0.75, 0.43 minus 0.43 minus 0.24 minus 0.75 minus 0.43 0.75 0.43 minus 0.43 minus 0.24 0.43 0.24. Now what will be the row number, column number? First we take element number 2. Element number 2 is made up of node number 2 and 3. So row number, column number will be 2x, 2y, 3x, 3y, 2x, 2y, 3x, 3y. Similarly, third element is made up of node number 1 and 3. So row number, column number will be 1x, 1y, 3x, 3y, 1x, 1y, 3x, 3y. Okay. Now you keep 10 to the power 3 outside, and rest of this multiplication is multiplied by this whole matrix, and then we assemble a global stiffness matrix here. So global stiffness matrix Kg is equal to K1 plus K2 plus K3. So Kg is equal to, so we know there are 3 nodes, so the size of the global stiffness matrix would be 6 by 6. So it will be 1x, 1y, 2x, 2y, 3x, 3y, 1x, 1y, 2x, 2y, 3x, 3y. And if you assemble all the values, then it comes out to be 10 to the power 3 outside the bracket, it is 35.3, 27.5 minus 5.7 minus 10 minus 30 minus 17.5 and 27.5, 27.6 minus 10 minus 17.5 minus 17.5 minus 10.2 minus 5.7 minus 9.97 minus 30 minus 17.5 minus 10 minus 17.5 minus 17.5 minus 10.2 5.7 0 0 0 10 37.4 0 minus 20 0 0 30 17.5 minus this is 0 minus 20 17.5 and 30.2. So these are the values of the global stiffness matrix. Now we apply the principle of minimum potential energy. So if you apply minimum potential energy or Rayleigh-Ritz method, then it will be F1x, F1y, F2x, F2y, F3x, F3y multiplied by kg into Q1x, Q1y, Q2x, Q2y, Q3x, Q3y. Okay. Now apply the Gauss elimination. So, what are the forces here? So here 2 forces. So here you can see that one is 50 kilonewton and 100. Second one is 100 kilonewton. Okay, 2 forces. and when you cut it into two parts, then these forces also get half. So here 50 का आधा कितना 25 किलो न्यूटन का फोर्स लगेगा अपवर्ड डायरेक्शन में, और यहाँ पे 100 है तो यहाँ पे 50 किलो न्यूटन का फोर्स लगेगा अपवर्ड डायरेक्शन में. ओके, सो ये 0 है, ये 0 है, F2x 0 है, F2y कितना है 50 किलो न्यूटन, सो 50 इंटू 10 टू द पावर 3. F3x भी 0 है एंड F3y है 25 किलो न्यूटन. ओके, पॉजिटिव डायरेक्शन में. ओके, सारे पॉजिटिव डायरेक्शन में. 10 टू द पावर 3 10 टू द पावर 3 कैंसिल हो जाएगा. देन नोड नंबर 1 इज कंप्लीटली फिक्स्ड, सो कैंसिल 1x रो 1x कॉलम, 1y रो 1y कॉलम. देन नोड नंबर 2 में x डायरेक्शन फिक्स है, सो कैंसल 2x रो 2x कॉलम. एंड नोड नंबर 3 पे x डायरेक्शन फिक्स है, सो 3x रो 3x कॉलम इज फिक्स्ड. अब इसमें जो बचा हुआ है वो बचा है 2y वाला रो और 3y वाला रो, 2y वाला कॉलम 3y वाला कॉलम, और उसके ऊपर से आप Q2y और Q3y ये दोनों की वैल्यूज आप निकाल सकते हो. ओके, सो Q2y और Q3y अगर आपने कैलकुलेट कर दिया तो आपके डिस्प्लेसमेंट्स आपको मिल जाएंगे, और उसके बाद तो इसको अगर आपने सॉल्व किया तो Q2y एंड Q3y इसके वैल्यूज आपको मिल जाएंगे, और उसके बाद स्ट्रेसेस, एलिमेंटल स्ट्रेसेस आप निकाल सकते हो. सो सिग्मा 1 इज इक्वल टू E बाय L माइनस C माइनस S C S मल्टीप्लाई बाय Q1x Q1y Q2x Q2y. इसके वैल्यूज डाल के आप सिग्मा 1 सिग्मा 2 और सिग्मा 3 ये कैलकुलेट कर सकते हो. So here we have seen that how a symmetric truss problem can be divided into two symmetric parts, two similar parts, and only half part is to be analyzed. So by dividing the truss problem, the quantum of the calculations have been reduced, and we can actually do the calculations and find out the field variances such as displacement, stresses and reactions. So hope you have learned how to divide a symmetric truss problem and solve it. Okay, so thank you very much.